Beauty and the Beast described a dynamic range of the special effects makeup artist. In American movie history, the special effects makeup artist has to pay tribute to the horror movie in all its manifestations, especially the mad scientist genre, here seen in the 30s, where the unintended consequences of their feeling of progress, scientific progress, result in monsters that we all know so well, created by people like Jack Pierce here, Frankenstein. There are also the monsters that come out of nowhere that aren't just the result of the mad scientist, but something gone berserk or bizarre in nature, whether it's King Kong or Godzilla. These come ready-made by the makeup artists, as well as Frankenstein and the monsters created by mad scientists. These are all fit out and sculpted and ready to go. But far more interesting for the makeup artist to go from that alpha to the omega of makeup is to go back to Robert Louis Stevenson in the 19th century and his creation of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, the ultimate transformation where the repressed comes from within to take over the persona of the person, in this case Dr. Jekyll, and become the beast that is Mr. Hyde. Before it were even made into movies, it was a very popular theatrical presentation where actors got to portray the appearance of a normal doctor and then suddenly become the beast from within. And you can see from early photographs how the idea of the actor transformed from the normal person into the savage is done with trick photography here, but the idea is you can see that the makeup is already predominant in its necessity to create the other side of Dr. Jekyll, the beast from within. So as movies developed in the 20s here, and Murnau, a German director, was one of the first to create Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde for movies, and you can see that subtle transformation, not really egregious, nothing big, but still we can see the repressed beast coming out from within Dr. Jekyll here, with an emphasis maybe on teeth. They broaden the nose, they pushed out the teeth, disarrayed the hair to give that sense of the person from who's unconscious is taking over and reducing him to the animal. Nothing big, but a little special effects makeup. It's early days yet. As we developed movies and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde had its decade-like presentation, the special effects makeup became a lot more sophisticated. Looking here like the Planet of the Apes, here we have Frederick March, who plays Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and you can see that the idea is that when Dr. Jekyll becomes the demon, Mr. Hyde, the beast is very much simian-like. It's very much like we're only a minor click away from the evolutionary missing link here, so that the makeup effects were basically taking the person, Frederick March, and making more her suit, and again the teeth are big, but it's the idea of making the ape take over the person as to give us the effect of the animal beast within. And later on in the 40s, we get here Boris Karloff, interestingly enough, playing the Dr. Hyde, Mr. Hyde part of Dr. Jekyll, and you can see here it's less ape-like, less simian, and more like the Wolfman, so that the inner demon really becomes more bestial, less of this throwback sense to something really different coming from out within, some really stirred up dark hidden demon taking on a kind of a lupine wolf-like feature here. And in the 40s, Spencer Tracy plays Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and his Dr. Jekyll is here's Spencer, and interestingly, the Mr. Hyde part is not ape-like, is not wolf-like. It's just looking more like a crazy clown more than anything else, showing that the inner demon is just a a shift in psychological portrayal. It's not necessarily a genetic mutation. It's something within our psyche that just turns differently and we act a little crazier. But what I'm trying to say here is that the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde uh, transformation is what's really dependent on the contrast between exterior and interior, and is best seen in the Beauty and the Beast fantasies and fairy tales, so that the exterior glamour is contrasted with the interior ghoul and the smooth skin and the ravaged skin and the appearances versus the exposed ugliness is what makes that whole mythology and to the present day very attractive. It's the contrast we love. And also that sneaking sense that both parts of those personalities are within us. The first famous Beauty and Beast was done by Jean Cocteau in the 30s, and his beast is very, very much like a lion in the sense it's not really a beast of a demon. It's more like the beast out of the jungle, and so it's a feline sense, and there's nothing really ugly about it. It's actually almost like the Wizard of Oz. It's like the cuddly lion figure is the beast, and makes it more regal, so that when dressed up, you can imagine this person as being the king with the beautiful queen. So it's not really a psychological difference, it's just merely a visual difference. When we have our big monsters, our supernature intervening in the cities, we have, of course, Beauty and the Beast juxtaposed here with Fay Wray in King Kong, and it becomes a pattern for all horror and sci-fi movies. Here's Creature from the Black Lagoon, contrasting the Beast and the Beauty, all the way up to the Swamp Thing here, where it seems that it's not so much the inner nature being exposed, it's just that opposites attract feeling that takes over. It's much more psychologically interesting and subtle to see that sense of the beast being something that might be an inner feeling. Here was the bird and the woman are Johnny Depp's Edward Scissorhands, where the foreign person is really the sympathetic interior of a woman's life. And Cate Blanchett here returns us to that Jean Cocteau feline image of the Beauty and the Beast. And what's interesting here is if we look at the interior of the woman and we see here this recent manifestation of Beauty and the Beast, very much like Jean Cocteau, the interior then becomes the feline. If the interior of the man is the ape, if that's his demon, then the demon from within the female in movies becomes cat-like, and so that we have the image, of course, with the inner side being the feline, pantheresque Catwoman that we see in Marvel Comics, of course, making this into a big franchise coming off of Batman. But so that inner demon, the attractive inner demon on the female side is the cat, and the inner demon on the male side seems to be more ape-like in this contrast between Beauty and Beast. But traditionally, we have the Beast separated from the Beauty as just an opposite that might attract. This is nothing internal here for this woman. This is just something different. And here we see a flip in gender reversal here in Penelope, where Ricci is porcine. She's more like the pig that this person is attracted to. So he's attracted to this image that's not feline, but it's more like the cuddly Charlotte Webb type of image in the Beauty and the Beast. And in recent cable TV, the Beauty and the Beast separation isn't a demon from within like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's a total opposite. It's an outsider. So it's less of a psychological difference as a sociological difference, so that the Beast is your marginal person, your outside person. So it's not so much the ugliness or the change in looks as just the person who's been ostracized that the Beauty falls in love with. And it's just a minor thing now where it might be the lightning-like scar that's enough to differentiate that person from the in crowd. Not much of a makeup challenge, but still just enough to separate the person from Beauty and the Beast. But I think what's interesting is I think there's a need in us to see the people we view as beautiful in a transformation where they're actually ugly. I don't know if it makes us feel better, but it makes us uh, see these people as less awesome and less godlike if we know that really underneath all that, they are the hidden demon, are the strange spirit from within that counteracts their beauty. So that if we see the model become the ghoul, or the glamour person become the harridan hag-like spirit, there's a feeling that they're not so different from us. They might be better looking, but inside we all have the goblins and the ghouls and the horrific images that we live with in our nightmares. And so that balance not only is more exciting, but psychologically it's more satisfying to know that for every beautiful person we look at, there might be somebody who's inside, their inner spirit's no different from anybody else. It has all the creatures and haunting images that we all live with. So there is no separation there. And I think it's more effective, especially for the makeup artists, when they go and they deal with that glamour makeup and then have to deal with that ghoulish makeup. It's then their test of skill, but much more exciting for them and more creative in the long run. Whether it's somebody who is not so horrific, but just weirdly transformed, or just blatantly horrific. It's a test, and it's a challenge, but in the end, it's a way of showing your artistry as a sculptor, and also reassuring us that these beautiful people we look with, even if they have a minor change, aren't really beautiful all the time. It's certainly a relief, and if we can then go to the movies and see those attractive, normal people transformed into demons, we then feel like there is some kind of balance in the world. And for makeup artists, this is nothing like. For makeup artists, a recent memory and into the future, this artistry is just gone almost to the limit. But there's very few movies now in the horror genre where the makeup artist doesn't just generally take over in the end.